This next one, I've been seeing too many split decisions on, bro. The Equalizer 3 is the finale to the trilogy that stars Denzel Washington, but more importantly, it is a trilogy where him and his, I would say one of his biggest collaborators, Antoine Fuqua, have collaborated together for every single installment. In the first one, I found it to be kind of Denzel taking the reins of doing his Taken. In
Yeah.
two, while he wasn't using guns in the first, he started using a couple more there. In three, they kind of switched things up a bit, and this guy who equalizes things begins as this violent being, and then it's kind of just chilling the whole movie. It is about the retirement of his character in this little Italy town that kind of serves like a Western, where he realizes, yo, I'm finally starting to feel at home somewhere. But then a bunch of mafiosos come in, and he's got to decide, should I unretire in order to properly live in this place that I want to?
Yeah, it's got that like old-fashioned feel,
Which
of,
I liked.
yeah, of like enforcer comes to small town and protects the people there. You know, like it's like a walking tall or something like that.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
go back
which
to
is
the
like
Death Wishes.
exactly, yeah. It's a solid premise, and particularly when you have somebody as charismatic as Denzel at the center of it, it's gonna become like inherently that much more watchable. So you were talking about the previous two Equalizer movies. Is this movie their equal? Do you like it more or maybe a little less than them?
I still think one is the best, and I'll just break it down easily. I think Denzel gets the most action in the first one.
Yeah.
You actually get to see him fight a lot. I like those moments where he kind of has something. They say it in the behind the scenes as well, but they never make it the forefront in the movie. You remember The Accountant with Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
That was like part of their marketing. What if he also had like ADD or something? Like that was
Right,
a big
he's a little
push.
on the spectrum or
Yeah,
something.
he's a little on the spectrum, but he can fight and count. Here, it's never been a part of the marketing. But when you watch these movies, Denzel plays a lot with like napkins and stuff, and
Yeah.
and it's
OCD
also ends up
kinda.
being part of his superpower where he kind of does the what is it Sherlock Holmes things. He can acknowledge everything in the room and then execute a plan.
Yeah.
I think the first one also had a much better duo where they had Chloe Grace Moretz. Now, Chloe Grace Moretz, having rewatched the entire trilogy, I like that back and forth between them two. I was really excited for this repairing, bro.
Same, man. I love Man on Fire. Yeah,
is
let's
one
go.
of his best movies.
Is that a top 3 Denzel for you? I think that's easy top 3 Denzel for me.
It is one of my favorites. I would probably say top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Shh, poor girl, man. She got mopped in this movie.
Yeah.
It's part of the character, right? She is coming in playing, I'm not sure how much of it is in the trailers, but kind of a counterpart, someone who is also looking for these same mafiosos, but she doesn't
Yes.
really know who he is, so they're kind of
She's in
playing
the
off of each
CIA.
other. Yeah, can they help each other? Is she trying to like kind of pin him? He's that person of interest when really he's just an interesting person. Man, I don't know. There is one specific sequence where he just like he spins her around, dude, and there's nothing she could do about it. And it felt like I was watching Dakota Fanning come out of retirement, and she was not ready to go up against Denzel, who, like LeBron, has not taken a season off. Man, he says this comment about her accent. I think he said that on the spot. Because they released that clip without that line, and I'm like, no. If you watch this movie, her reaction to that, she looks so embarrassed, and I think Denzel got that out of her, man. I didn't like a lot of the back and forth between the two of them because it felt like he was really just it was her training day, really.
Yeah.
But I did appreciate the rest of it. It is a slow movie. I don't know how you felt about it being kind of a retirement movie for him, where he's not really in the forefront fighting. He's like a boogeyman in the background. I don't think they even need Denzel. Denzel will act, and then they'll have the stunt double in the shadows, just like killing people off. I don't think it's the best out of the trilogy, but I think it's a perfect way to wrap it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it works mostly because Denzel carries like a pathos around that, like when he is walking through the town, it's not just an actor walking through a quaint Italian town. It's Denzel reevaluating all the choices that he's made in his life to get him to
Yeah.
this point where he's confronted by this beauty, right? Like he's an actor who can kind of convey the weight of that. So I think it becomes that much more watchable. The plot is not really like that involving, and I don't really need it to take a front seat. I kind of like the the bareness of it and just sort of allowing the performances to take center stage. Maybe if the performances around Denzel were to Denzel's level, this would be like a great movie. But like it also has these moments of like kind of brutal action that are a bit unexpected, like even more brutal than I think you expect from a movie like this, kind of verging on body horror. And it's not like
easily.
Yeah, it's not as inventive as like the nail gun finale of the first Equalizer movie, but like it's some pretty satisfying action beats, you know, in the mold of like Taken or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it mostly delivers. It maybe not. This is maybe like a tier below even like go see it in the theater. This is like a wait for it on streaming for me. But like, you know, I it usually takes a lot for me to dislike watching Denzel, particularly in this mode. It's an uncomplicated pleasure. I feel like it's a pretty easy, if not very involving watch.
Yeah, like I said, I'd put the first one still at number one. I'd say this
same.
is just a hair above the second one, in my opinion. They try to combine. If you watch the trilogy, I think it'd be helpful. It's not necessary, but it does lead to a big conclusion that they have at the end of 3, because there is a storyline between one and 2 that gets wrapped up here. It's just that you have to realize that the first one is like a crime action thriller, and this ends as a crime drama. This one is definitely more on the drama side with hints of that action there. So if you know that, I would recommend it as a junior price. If you've been bored from the Equalizer series, this is not going to equalize it for you. Save it at home. But for me, I think it's cool that the 3 of them, or the 2 of them, have been able to come together for this trilogy. And I'm curious what they do with it. I mean, they already got the Queen Latifah series out there.
Yeah,
I'm sure this will be rebooted in other ways, but
that's the thing. It's a much bigger property than like I think most people even realize. Like the Equalizer and Equalizer 2 are number 4 and 5 on Denzel's list of highest grossing films. Like these are the most successful movies that he's been a part of.
Too. He never does sequels, so that's a big deal.
Yeah, so and you know, I think every older actor kind of seems to enjoy getting a couple of these in. So
hell yeah, I think he should continue
Denzel.
it. Yeah. I would love to see him just come in now that he could do more drama, and then someone else could do the punching.
Right.
I'm gonna put you this one. They've been talking about what if they did a flashback, have 4 be a flashback, and I don't know, maybe have a young
John David
Washington out there.
Hey man, he's evolving into like an action star as well. He's got Creator coming out. I'd be there for it. I'd be okay with them switching it up from Fuqua, maybe. But
that too?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. But Equalizer 3 out in theaters now. It should be available at home very, very soon. So keep your eyes out for that one if you're interested.